Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Barlow Zone, home of Barlo.b.theorizing, otherwise known as the Demon Hunter King Kaido himself, sent to Azeroth. How's everybody doing today? I hope y'all having as good a day as I am. Today, I'm hoping I can get this video up today. Do have to look for some new editing software, but hey, as is the life of a broke YouTuber. Uh, but you know, with the 28th anniversary of One Piece being yesterday and my birthday being today, final or Fantastic Four coming out in 2 days, I'm I'm feeling really good this week. 2025 is a pretty exciting year for Barlow, I'll tell you. But in celebration of One Piece and myself, I wanted to have a quick discussion because Oda Sensei did drop a special art like he usually does for the anniversary. He dropped this really cool art that I found on Pew Piece's Twitter channel. If you're a fan of One Piece like myself and you're not already checking out Pew Piece, I definitely recommend that one. Just do be careful, as his channel or page does have a little more information than the weekly partaker may appreciate, but he's always got some really cool stuff, so I do recommend his page over there if you're on Twitter. uh, but I want to come back around because we got this really cool artwork of Luffy this year to celebrate 28 years. And as Barlow does, I don't always just take in the overall of the content and media put in front of me, right? I'm always looking for the little details that maybe aren't immediately apparent to everybody, because we already got a lot of great creators in the sphere who do the weekly reviews, discussions of stuff, all the stuff that's really big in the community right now. And I don't want to be just another clone, I guess. I don't know. I don't really call them clones because they do all bring something unique to the table. I don't feel like there are very many unique chairs left at that table. So I try to keep my eyes open for the smaller details because that's kind of been Oda's bread and butter, right? The little things leading into the big reveals 1,000 chapters later. And the very first thing I noticed when I took a look at this artwork was the numbers, and it wasn't something I had ever noticed before. Obviously, none of the art here is. I don't want to say original or unique because Oda did put his own little twist on it, his own little touch. Uh, you don't always have to come up with something unique for it to be special. But essentially, every one of these is something we've already seen in the manga, right? Or in the anime, if that's how you partake. Just because I don't doesn't mean I'm not excited that the anime exists for people who prefer that kind of media. But we've already seen all of this. 28 years is a lot of content to pull from. But he pulled five of the most memorable, I suppose, panels or stances to represent these. And for the first time, for whatever reason, when I was looking at this, for the first time I realized that the even numbered gears are when Luffy's at his most serious, and the odd numbered gears are when he's the most free or joyous, I guess. Now, I'll admit, this is probably one of those super small details that isn't going to amount to anything. Even if I do come up with a theory around it, it's doubtful that it would be something that would ever get confirmed because there's no real need for it to get confirmed, right? But I really like talking about these small details because, like I say, Oda's trained my mind to look for the smaller things, see the beauty in the details that get overlooked, I guess, as it were. And after having this thought, I left a comment on Pew's post because, like I said, in the moment, it was the first thing I realized, and I caught myself wondering, does this have a deeper meaning? Now, for whatever it's worth, I didn't really find a whole lot of new or deeper meaning or interest behind any of it, but I did find a scientific research paper that was published in 2013 by a Japanese artist. I do apologize, not artist, Japanese scientist. I do apologize. I'm blanking on all the exact details. I do remember, if I'm remembering right, it was from Osaka University. I will put a little circa copyright, whatever, but something so you guys can see who the original author is and the university that they published under. Because I thought it was really interesting that back in 2013, any scientist, I mean, now, admittedly, not being a scientist myself, no PhD, really no professional science background, other than what one might call an amateur citizen scientist. I'm not extremely familiar with the reasoning behind a lot of stuff when I do come across these papers researching theories, because this isn't the first time. Occasionally I will stumble across something related to actual real world science. But, I'm not 100% sure what the point behind the paper was. But somebody in the, what do they call it? Number theory sphere, I guess. Somebody who is interested in numbers also found themselves interested in the relation between odds and evens in Western and Eastern culture. Now, the paper does talk about pretty specifically China and Japan, but with the Western culture, they have a rather heavy focus on America, or the United States, I guess. Although I guess it could have been North America. I don't remember anything specific about between North America and the United States. They just mentioned America. But in Japan, I noticed the odd numbers 1, 3, 5 are some of the most commonly used, even heavily connected to a variety of celebrations and cultural, historical significance, which is dichotomized by the West's, surprisingly, even to somebody from the Western hemisphere, an incredible leaning towards the number 2. Now, the author does try to argue about evens having more impact in Western society, but as the graphs, I'm sure I've put up at least a couple of graphs, because I do try to use as much detail, screenshots, give calls out when I'm using something I found on the internet or through a Google search. But as the graph shows us, it's really more the number 2. 1 and then 3 through 9 are a pretty steady decline. But it's contrasted by the graph for the Japanese numbers, because 1, 3, and 5, while it is a decline, 1, 3, then 5, they are all pretty significantly above 2 and 4, which, without knowing a whole lot about Japanese culture, I can't explain why. I honestly wouldn't even really feel comfortable theorizing why. I just know it's something that is used by a lot of mangaka. But the numbers 2 and 4 are kind of bad luck in Eastern culture, or I guess more specific, I'm not going to say Eastern culture. To my knowledge, it is really heavily favoring Japanese culture, but the author does mention like I said, Chinese as well. But you know, there's just like I said at the beginning, this probably isn't gonna amount to anything. Just one of those things Barlow noticed. Uh, like I said, when I took a look at the graphic, the first thing I thought was, "Wow, that is really cool." Oda always puts so much detail into helping us celebrate. And then immediately after that, I was, "Oh wait, hold on. 2, 4, super serious." But then base Luffy 3 and 5 are all like laughy and loose and smiley. So, let me know what you guys think. Hit me up in the comments. Is this something that could amount to something? Is this something that could have a deeper meaning? Some kind of hint here that I'm just not seeing yet? Uh, are the BarloWays sending me astray? Am I tinfoil hatting myself here? Feel free to let me know in the comments. As always, I'll make sure to get a Discord link in the bio. And don't forget, check me out on X and Tumblr. I suppose, as a real quick side note before I head out, I would like to apologize. I did get the World of Warcraft video shot and edited. I would just have to put together a thumbnail, but in the process of editing it, I really didn't like how I sounded. Not like the sound of my voice or whatever, but I got a little braggy and it felt uncomfortable. The idea of posting that was really uncomfortable to me. But if you guys really want that, like I said, all I'd have to do is throw together a thumbnail. I can get that one uploaded. So let me know about that. You wanna see Barlow get a little full of himself talking about something he had felt passionately about and been called crazy about. I can get that one uploaded for you guys. If not, as always, let me know what you guys think. Much love, fam.